Welcome to the channel, folks. My name's Shane. I'm going to share with you something a little bit different. I'm not going to share with you the latest and greatest in tech, but I'm going to share with you why I purchased two of my favorite cameras of all time. These aren't new. Just to let you know, I'm shooting with an FX3 from Sony and a Sony A7S3 up over here. These cameras are far less expensive and the end result is almost as good. In some situations, they may actually even be better. And we'll talk more about the pros and cons of this particular system in just a bit. Now, if you fall into the category of liking the camera to do everything for you, autofocus, auto exposure, these might not be the cameras for you, but for me, when I do my multi-camera setup, these are the exact tool for the job, and I can't wait to get my hands back on these. That's right, I actually traded in a couple of these to get my Sony A7S3, and I lived with regret. I thought, man, these are so much more functional for the kind of stuff that I do and more compact, so that may give it away. Let's unbox it. While I make a lot of YouTube videos, I also watch a lot of YouTube videos, and I really felt like going over to full frame was an absolute no-brainer. And in some ways it was, and I'm really happy with the results that I get with my Panasonic S5 multi-camera setup. But the Sony stuff just leaves me a little bit cold. Sure, the end result looks good and the eye autofocus is fantastic, but that's not all I look for when it comes to producing videos. Now, everyone's situation is different. I'm going to talk a little bit about what I love about these particular cameras. Woo! Yeah! Old tech, man. Check this out. This is the Panasonic GH5S. That's right. I got a couple of these to complete my multi-camera setup for Micro Four Thirds anytime I'm doing traveling, or if I need two other cameras for this particular studio, I'll have them all match. The GH5S holds up considerably well, even against the Sony FX3, and in some ways it's far superior. That's crazy on YouTube talking about Micro Four Thirds being superior, but there's so many great things to love about this particular camera, and after shooting with them for almost 2 years prior to selling them, I can't wait to give these a go. All right, so here's everything. Two Panasonic GH5S cameras and the 25mm f1.7 prime lens. Now, these little prime lenses get a bit of a rough time online. They do have a bit of focus breathing and they're plasticky in terms of their feel, but the end result is fantastic. And really what set me off using this again was how great it looked on the GH6. The image quality was fantastic. And as a portable lens, if you're doing any type of traveling, they weigh next to nothing. It's really quite impressive, the visual quality of these lenses, but then also just how light they are. So as a travel rig, this makes a whole lot of sense. Let's open up one of these. All right, let's check out the camera. So I've been deliberating doing this for quite some time. While I really enjoy the end result with my Sony cameras, they leave me a little cold in terms of their functionality and just overall price to performance ratio. Now, I'm sure people will disagree with that, but after using these cameras, I really don't think there's a huge compromise, and these should fit in with my multi-camera setup nicely. One of the big reasons why I went for the GH5S, not only do we get that 1.8 times crop, and it's a great low light little camera, is the fact it's as light as it is. It comes in at 660 grams from memory. If I'm wrong, I'll put it on screen somewhere, but you get everything with these cameras. You get a larger touchscreen than you do with the GH5 Mark II, and it still has touch to focus, which is another really cool feature. So if you're in manual mode, you can swipe your finger, lock focus, and you're done. You can also connect it to Wi-Fi via the app and control the focus and camera features that way. But the build quality on these is far better than even the Sony A7S3, which is a robust camera. But Panasonic make little tanks, and I'm a big fan of this. So yeah, very cool. I think what I'm going to do now is cut to the chase, and we'll switch up one of these views and we'll see just how much of a difference there is. Let's do a quick video quality comparison between the Sony FX3 full frame mirrorless camera, the hype train camera of YouTube, up against the GH5S from Panasonic, which came out in 2018. Now, I'm at f1.7 on Micro Four Thirds with the GH5S and 1.8 on the Sony. Let us know if you can see a massive difference with this particular shot. Now, this is a studio situational shot, and this is how I plan on using them. So for me, this works great, and the difference in the background separation might not be a deal breaker or make it. It really depends on your particular situation. I always wanted lots of background blur until I had it, and then it gets overused, and now it annoys me. This is my 24mm f1.4 G Master for the Sony full frame. I love this lens. It really looks great on the Sony as well if you're going for that particular look. But that's not the be all and end all when it comes to making content. And this often goes overlooked. So let us know in the comment section which one you think looks best and why. Looking at my reference monitors, I've got one per camera back here. The jacket looks far more accurate on the GH5S than it does on the FX3, but the FX3 has sort of like this color pop on screen. This is just the no picture profile, the natural picture profile, and this is what I'm getting. So I think with a little bit of tweaking, I could probably make these look very similar to each other, with the difference being in the background separation, and that's about it. So the GH5S, how does it hold up against the hype train of the Sony FX3? All right, so there you have it. Let us know which one you like the best in that side-by-side comparison. The Sony FX3 coming in at 3 times the price at the current price of a brand new GH5S. I think this will probably hold up really well. Color science, all that kind of stuff is all subjective, but the FX3 is a really great run and gun camera if you need that impeccable autofocus. The IBIS isn't great, but it's better than having no IBIS, so you just got to keep that in mind as well. If you're going to be doing any type of tripod work like this, like what I will be, then the GH5S is an absolute no-brainer. Gimbal shooters will love this as well. It's nice and light, so there's plenty to love about Micro Four Thirds. I find myself enjoying shooting with them far more. Sometimes it's more of a challenge, but I get a kick out of putting my own work into making the result happen as opposed to just letting the camera do the work. There's 2 trains of thought there. Let us know which one you fall into. There's no right or wrong if you're just getting started. Automatic will do the job, but I'm more partial now to having my hands on a camera and trying to wrangle whatever I can out of it to the best of its ability. And I think this should still hold up really great in 2022. Thanks for watching. Catch you soon. See ya.